I didn't even think about that. So like I liked and puzzles. Wow, you guys are good at this. You're really pulling it all together. Jesus.
Yo, Munir.
Creativity.
The happiest guys on the internet. What's going on, brother? Yo, Munir. Type A perfectionist.
Hey, you're surrounded by us, Rob.
You know
I
I'm not gonna.
it's
You know
like
I got to fix it all.
moth to a flame.
All right, there we go. Now,
like
now I
moth
can
to
lean.
a flame.
Now
You
I can
guys
lean to the
complete
left.
me.
Oh, perfect. All right. Great.
Yo,
Now I can see
Anthony.
this. Yo, Rob and Munir. Yo, Munir
That's right.
and Rob.
Thank
Fit.
you.
I got to go with the show name, right?
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Welcome.
Talk to me.
We're going to. So we're going to kick things off by welcoming our audience to Yo Munir. Allow me to start.
Go for it.
Welcome to Yo Munir, a show celebrating practice and creativity, hosted by the happiest guys on the internet. I'm Rob Haddad, a former producer and director who spent his career in sports, media, and technology.
I'm Munir Haddad, co-founder and CEO of Kiosk, an international award-winning advertising agency, and a strong supporter of stakeholder capitalism. And today, Rob, who do we have in the room with us?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Strong statement to start. I like it.
Thanks, Moo. We have a very special guest, Jersey's own Anthony Seratelli. He is a dear friend and a collaborator. He is a former professional baseball player who spent his time on the road between games and practice, honing his craft of content creation. First on Vine-like videos, shout out to Vine if you remember those, and then later as an editor producer before he founded his award-winning production company, Jersey Filmmaker. Anthony and I met at the prestigious Arizona Fall League in 2011, where I was there covering top prospects like Mike Trout, Bryce Harper, and Garrett Cole. And Anthony was there too. Jersey Filmmaker has developed content for Apple TV, Showtime, YouTube, MSG, Fanatics, along with dozens of stories featuring athletes like Floyd Mayweather, Peyton Manning, and Aaron Judge. I am so excited to have a dear friend and collaborator, Anthony Seratelli, to the show. Welcome, my friend.
Thank you, guys. Thank you. That's a very nice intro. It's cool to hear all that stuff played back and thinking about going back to just meeting you. I mean, again, however many years ago now, it's been quite a journey. So I'm sure we'll be talking about that a little bit.
It's 15 years is actually how the math works.
That is wild. Yeah.
One thing that we like to do is understand a little bit about your childhood so we can get into where creativity comes from and give us a framework of a little young Anthony Seratelli. What was home like? Did you move a lot? Where are you from? Kind of take us a little snapshot back to growing up.
Born and raised in Central Jersey, if there's such a thing, if you know about Jersey. So yes, in the small section of Jersey that is Central Jersey, I was born and raised Middlesex County. I didn't move a lot. I had, a home in Woodbridge Township originally, and then in middle school, my first marking period in middle school after the first one in 6th grade, I moved to Old Bridge. So I went from Woodbridge to Old Bridge, just across the Driscoll Bridge over there, and that was it. I mean, until I started moving around for my career, I really didn't have a lot of homes as far as growing up. Had a lot of family homes to be able to go to. My grandparents, I was at a lot. My grandfather also had a beach house in Point Pleasant, which was the best. I was just talking about that recently, so I definitely missed that.
Shout out to the Ark.
And then my parents had split when I was young, so I was always with my mother too. And she moved around quite a bit, so I was with her on weekends and things. So I didn't move around as far as like being where I went to school and all that, but I did bounce around to family houses throughout the years and got to experience different things.
Were you like a game playing family?
We did play a lot of games actually. Yeah, we played. Man, I would. The best. The one I can think of that comes top of mind is Mario Go Kart, uh, Mario Kart. We
Mario
would play all
Kart.
the time as like the 4 player or GoldenEye. Anything that was like 4 players is like me, my sister, my dad, and whoever wanted to join us. My sister would win the majority of them, which was just nuts. Couldn't beat her in Mario Kart, and she'll love to hear that when she hears this. But yeah, and we played, Uno and Monopoly and all those games as well. So yeah, we definitely played some games growing up for sure.
Yeah. Munir and I talk a lot about where our creative inspiration comes from and how we kind of had permission to be creative in our home. We played a lot of board games with our dad. He would write us letters, handwritten letters from Beirut when he was living in Beirut, and he would illustrate them. So essentially, emojis for words. I'm wondering if you had an early creative experience that you think of.
For me, yes, yes, I would say so. It's funny, I forget about a few of them, and I've been reminded over time. And actually, even more interestingly, how the creativity has, I guess, how it's in my veins per se or in my blood. Um, for me, I definitely did take camcorders and start, stop, and try to make little films and things like that as I was growing up. And man, I have a hard time remembering like exactly what they were, but I know I did it. But I remember even more vividly, not from actually being there because I was like 3 months old, but I have playback, I have video. My dad digitized all of our family videos over time. So all VHS, like I have a full hard drive, and I actually have it stored on, on the cloud and stuff too, where I can make sure it's for safekeeping, but where I can go back through videos from the '80s and things that we pulled, from VHS tapes. And one of them, when you go back in there, is my dad and my mom making a like film of me as a baby doing things, and then at the end, this is the best part, and this is what I remember the most, the credits. They used like a piece of cardboard or something and pulled it up through the screen. So like you just see the names scrolling, but they're just pulling a piece of paper or cardboard, whatever it was. Um, so I remember seeing that well after I got it started a production company. So I'm like, holy, can we curse on here? Holy, whatever, I'm like, you guys were doing this? I like that's where it comes from. That that was kind of that vibe, but I didn't know. Um, Looking back, it was cool to see that looking back. So it must be in there, right? And then there's some musical background too. My dad was very musical, so it definitely is in the blood. And I did things growing up, but I would say I didn't really get into being fully creative. I would say until I started playing baseball professionally, but I try to look back at college. I was so into playing ball and, like, getting my schoolwork done. That sounds weird, but, like, I was into, my major was systems analysis, management information systems. So systems analysis and design, computer
There it is.
programming computer programming. So, like, that was creative to me, I guess, like, to build a program, right?
Yeah.
So, it was a different type of creativity, so I didn't think of it as creative. I thought of it as, like, software and building something, but it was creative enough in a sense. And then like, all right, here we go. You got me going. Let's go back to high school. Um, I think the statute of limitations is expired here. So I used to program my answers into my TI-83 or TI-80, whatever, Texas Instruments, you know what I'm talking about? With that had the screen that was yay big. I would make a program. In order to access the program, you had to put in a certain key code that you can't even see. Like, you don't even know it's being entered. You just hit like up, down, right, left, enter. And then like this new screen opens up, and I would program very specific, like if this, then that, display this, and move I could do all that on my TI-83. And you had to know how to do that. You couldn't do it through AI. You know what I'm saying? Um, so yeah, I would store some answers in there, and like teachers wouldn't know. And there's no way they could get into my calculator to do it. So as soon as they come, I just exit out, and I would store some answers and clues or hints or whatever, because maybe I didn't know the questions. But um, I don't know if that's cheating or if that's smart. You know,
It's
like
both.
I think there's
It's
I
both.
think there's there's something to that where I get cheating is bad and you don't want to condone it, but it's the way I did it, I thought was
Oh,
very
got you.
creative and I had to learn to do that. So
Right.
I may not it
100%.
may have helped me pass my math or I feel like I used it in science of sorts too, which science isn't my best thing. I'm better at numbers. So like but like I had to scientifically program my calculator to answer science questions. Um so that's another creative
I
step
love that.
in my life, I guess.
Well, also, I was telling Munir before we started, I said, I do have to say, Anthony reminds me a lot of you, like type A,
Mhm.
process oriented, and I gravitate to people like that. And I think because that's a deficiency for me, I'm really attracted to people who are organized and have a strategy and process. And
Yeah.
surely you do.
Yeah, funny enough, I think I'm the opposite. Somehow I surround myself with less of that, less of the type A, but I need it because it's the big thinker. It's the because once I get honed in on something, I'm very good at sticking to it and seeing it through. And sometimes that's not always the best thing, especially these days with like things changing so fast with technology and like the way we deliver or process things. I could keep the same flow forever because I get locked in and make it the best possible way. I'm always looking a way to make it even better. But sometimes it's like, dude, you got to move on, or you got to try something else, or you got to look at a bigger picture. So it's not that I don't have big picture in mind, but once I settle on what that avenue is in that picture of sorts, I'm going and I'm sticking to it. And I can bring everyone with me. I'm good at that, I think. But it's good to have the others around that can kind of like sway me a little bit. I'm not saying I'm not combative to it because it's like, no, this is the path. Um, but I hear it and like, I catch myself sometimes being a little bit like, maybe you should listen to them. Um, but I definitely seem to have a lot of that around me as well. I'm not saying we don't have organized people at all around me in our business and things like that. But I definitely am at the top of that type A for sure. But
Well, to what degree does baseball play a role in that? And was that what we talk here about
mhm.
practice?
We're talking
The
about
show
practice.
is celebrating practice and creativity. And I wonder what you think of when you hear the word practice.
What do I think of when I hear the word practice? It's normal to me. Like I would love to practice. I loved figuring things out and getting them as best as they can be, especially before putting them out to the world. So like I mean if that makes sense, like going in the cage every day before I step in the box and every time until I step in the box next time. I want to get as best I can before I perform that act. So whether that's practicing my craft or baseball or production creativity, I think it's similar. um I'm big on like let me try it first before and I'll try it over and over to get it right before we go perform this act, whatever that is, sports, business. um Again, that another reason why to have some others around. They're like, no, we got to go. You keep you what is it called when you beat like you
Beat
could
a dead horse.
yeah, it's beating a dead horse, but it's like, you know, um, death by oh god, I can't think of the saying.
A thousand
Uh,
cuts.
Yeah, something like that, where it's like you just
oh,
do
what you're
it.
saying that you
I'm taking too
practice
long
so
to get out
much.
there. Yeah,
Oh,
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
yeah.
like even and I'm thinking more business in a business sense. Imagine I was in software and we're just keep it
Right.
and now these days trying to
Yeah.
develop, get it perfect. By the time we release it
Yeah.
doesn't even matter anymore. Like that sort of thing, right? Like sometimes I can go too hard at getting into the details and trying to perfect things where it's like, just go do it and figure it out as well. Like you
Like
can do
diminishing
both.
returns is kind of like
Yeah, I'm like getting beyond the point of that. And so yeah, I think I'm better at balancing it now, but definitely have that a little bit of that in me. Although I'll tell you a good story too. When I was in rookie ball, my first year with the Royals, I was 23. Most of the guys on the team were 20. Oh, no, I'm sorry, I was 24. Most of the guys are 21 or even 18, most coming out of college. So I was grandpa at the time, nicknamed. Um, but I wasn't a big money guy. I signed out of an open workout, so I was if I got a chance to play, it was great. There's a lot of guys that just got signed for some good money, so they're gonna play. Um, and then one day, my coach came up to me. I was playing mostly like middle infield, maybe third, right field. Kind of bounced around as you know. But I hadn't played first base yet, ever in my life. So my coach comes up to me and says, or the manager comes up to me, he's like, "Have you ever played first?" And I was like, "Yeah, absolutely." Um, he's like, "All right, good. We need to get you out there. It's gonna, because it was an opportunity for me to play more."
Right.
So I went to like Dick's and got a first baseman's mitt and tried to beat it up as much as I could that night so I could use it the next day. And I really didn't know anything, and he knew I didn't know, kind of thing. It's like, yeah, I can play it, sure. So he showed me a couple things, which is great, and that was my first step to playing first. And I ended up playing the most innings in my professional career at first base, which was just wild as a 5'11", 185 kind of guy that can with speed. Now it's not weird for like not a or I guess this is the opposite. I'm sorry. It was funny to hear leading off playing first base, number two, Anthony Seratelli. Now it's like leading off playing right field, Aaron Judge. You didn't hear that at all back then, and nor did you hear what I did. So like things have changed, but I loved playing first. But anyway, that to the point of like I am able to jump in sometimes, but I do fight that battle of should I keep trying to make it perfect or just go,
Something had to trigger you to go, this is an opportunity, and I'm going to say yes.
Mhm.
And your repetition elsewhere gave you the confidence to say, I'm going to do it. And then your desire to play was in there too.
Yeah, it didn't scare me. It's more of
Right.
like, "Oh, great. This is even better." Like, let's take this opportunity and run with it. Um, instead of some change like today with all this AI stuff is a little more scary to me than like exciting. It's like, got to figure out something new every day. At least then it was just once. Let me figure out how to play first base. I'll be good. That's not going to change for the next 10 years.
Right.
Man, some of this stuff these days is like that's kind of the hard part now, I think too, if we're getting beyond some of this stuff. But like to jump into things that are new now, that are changing every day, sucks in my opinion. It's like, oh, I got to figure this out today. Oh, then I got to figure it out again tomorrow, and then again the next day. That's not fun to me. I want to find something that I like to do and do it and master it of sorts. I like that. I'll go in there and take 1,000 swings in the cage as I did. I'm into golf now. Now I'm taking 1,000 swings. There's a simulator you guys can't see right behind you in the office. Like I'll take swings all day. Wrong one. This office, um, because I love mastering a skill.
Yeah.
And this AI stuff, man, it's like next tomorrow is different, and it's like hard to master. I don't. It's that's not fun to me.
Right.
Can't ignore it. But like again, it's an interesting thought process. We're talking about being creative and type A and skill sets. That's something today that scares me. As far for personally, it's not like AI. You gotta figure it out. You gotta do what you gotta do. That the world's gonna change as it does. But for me, it's like I don't really want to live like that. So I got to figure out a way to like make that work for me because got to work it in. But I just don't want to learn something new every day, like
Do
every day.
you
I love
do,
learning. It's just the change, constant change.
do you feel like anybody has that down?
No, no, but other people are much better at like, I don't care. I'll just keep doing it. I think they actually find that exciting, where it's like it's new. It's everything's getting better. Oh, how can it make my efficiencies better? Like, we talk about process. It's a little combative what I'm saying, contradictive, right? I like processes and being more efficient, and these things can help that. But at the same time, I'm going to figure out what that is today, and then you have to do it all over again tomorrow. Whereas I feel like now, like previously, you figure out a process, it might work for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 years. And
Right.
like, then you keep adding to it slowly, not
Right.
daily. you know, it's just a lot. It's just a lot to like handle,
I
you know? I
I
guess I
agree
need it
with
in
you.
small increments.
I'm curious. Like you've triggered something in me. You've excited my curiosity because I think that there's a lot of people who are talking about making these improvements,
Hmm.
but I don't know that they have actually provided at scale or with any repetition
Mhm.
the process improvements that you're worried about at the moment. I think because if they're also changing every day, there is
Mhm.
no process.
No,
So,
that's the problem. That's what bothers me. It's like, "Oh, I got it. No, I don't. Oh, I got it. No, I don't." Like, when you're building something and you wanna do it repetitively in your business, to change that every day is not a process. Every day you're trying to figure out the process. The point is to
right,
figure out the process so it becomes efficient so the company can operate. And yes, over
right,
time that will change and you can improve slowly as you do because you're working as well. But having to work on the process every day because it just constantly changes is exhausting and not again not fun for me.
right.
So I guess I'm taking it more in steps and trying to add in a little bit and trying to do it the old way with the new stuff. I don't know if that's going to be detrimental or it'll work. Who knows? I have no idea, but I just know that it doesn't work the same up here as it did, where it's like for the last decade plus, building a business it was normal for me. Now it's not normal. Like something's so new and different that like y- the business was very similar for a decade. We made content. And shit, when we started, it wasn't even called content. We're making films or videos, whatever you want to call it then, and became this content. And now, like, that's enough of a change for me, but at least we're still using cameras and editing. Now all that's changing. Like, we don't even need a camera. It's like, what? This is not what I got into. You know what I mean? It's like saying like I want to build houses, and then all of a sudden all you gotta do is hit enter and the house is built. It's like, what am I doing? I used to like want to hammer and measure and cut and build. You don't It's so different. It's like really changing what we're doing or who we are almost as creators. And I'm like, I don't like that. Like I got into it because I like that part of it. It's frustrating. Creatively. That's frustrating.
I want you to share a little bit about where you started to practice that. I mean, I know about your time playing baseball and using your free time making videos, but take us back to a point in which you had free time and you needed to do something with it, whether it was
Yeah.
guitar or creating videos.
Yeah. I mean, playing ball there was a lot of downtime, obviously, right? We play at night, maybe get to the field at home around 1 o'clock or so, on the road 3, 4 sometimes. So you have a decent amount of time usually throughout the day. Play a day game on the weekends. You have most of the evening to yourself. So being on the road, obviously we have teammates and roommates, and you can keep yourself busy. But a lot of guys did that by playing video games. I wasn't a video game guy. Once I got funny, I say that because we were talking about Mario Kart and all. But like once I got out of that, actually out of home, even in college, guys would sit around playing. I wasn't a big gamer at that point. Um, so I did it by yeah, I started with music. Actually, they probably started about the same time, to be honest with you. Both music and playing the guitar and making videos. Um, it was just it was my downtime. It just killed my downtime, but it was something I was interested in too. So it quickly became something I realized I can make a career out of afterwards. So then it became a little of both. It was like I like it a lot, so I'm doing it for fun. But if I keep doing this and learn it, I'm pretty sure I could do this after because baseball's not going to last forever. I never thought that with music. I've always enjoyed music, and anything from the guitar to piano to even again back then being able, getting on Logic and figuring out how to make songs and all those things was fun to me, but never I can't sing, so I was limited. now now you can do anything without even being musical, so that's another story. Um, but anyway, back then, like that was fun. That was complete fun, and we had 4 guys on the team, 5 including me, that played, or at least were trying to play. One was very good. Uh, one was very good. Two were solid, and then me and one other guy were kind of just getting started. So we would take our guitars on the road always. I even bought like this little travel one that was like yay long and yay thin, electric, just so for easier transport. But we were on buses, so it was not hard to put even a full guitar on the bus.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, I just take that out. We take it out in the locker room between. So I'm saying there's all this time before the game, but we'd have it in the locker room after BP or something. Just while we're sitting around waiting, having some food. Some guy, I would shower. We might have 10 minutes. Like just pick it up all the time. So that became pretty like just it's not easy at all because I'm not that great. But like I was able to start playing some songs and strumming some chords and having a good time with that, and then playing with my buddies. So that was cool. And my dad played. My dad was very good. He never put it on me to learn. He actually never put really pushed anything on me. It's kind of like I feel like I could have come home and said I want to play pickup sticks, and he would have been like, "All right, let's see how it goes. Go for it." Um, yeah, so he never like said you need to play music or you need to play sports or you need to do any of this. It was always just whatever I wanted to do. So I didn't get into playing, even though I grew up around him playing and his buddies from high school and the band coming around, which I loved listening to. They jam in the basement. And I loved listening to it. But I didn't start playing the guitar till I was 24. So
Wow.
I didn't do that at all as a child, or even a teen, anything like that. Music really wasn't a part of my life playing. I was a DJ in high school. I'm just saying.
What was your DJ name?
No, I don't want to talk about that.
What was your DJ name? The people want to know.
Do you know my initials, right? Well, my
Oh,
basic initials.
ARS1?
Well, no, let's take out my middle initial. This is so dumb. I had two. I had one. No, I don't even want to say this. It was DJ Big As AS in high school, which was terrible. And I don't think I went around saying that, but that's how I used. I don't think my family even remembers that. So that's great. Thank you for bringing that out of me. And then ARS1 Productions was something I used as like my production of like doing mashups and things. So like I have this one thing, this one mix that was actually great. It's called the 2006 Holiday Mix, Holiday, HOLLA, that I put together. This just mashup of songs, and that it would in the middle of it be like ARS1 Productions, like that was kind of my producer name, and then that became my business, ARS1 Productions, until we changed it to Jersey Filmmaker because everyone's like, how's that AR1 the production company going? I'm like, yeah, I got to change this when it like became a real thing. I was like, I need people to remember the name of our company, which they still struggle with. Jersey Films, Jersey Filmmakers, just clients that have paperwork that know our name still say that. So, but we're the Jersey boys, Jersey Film boys, whatever it is. That's all good. They remember it. They know where we're from. So, forget where I was going with that, but yeah, where was I with that story? Oh yeah,
We were
DJing. So DJing was, musically again, DJing, then kind of post-producing music of sorts, taking other people's music and doing things with it. But I legit had turntables and things, so I was like pumping that all in. Again, electronically, I was capable, so that was fun. That was in my teens and into college. So yeah, kind of transitioned.
I was going to say, because you walked on at Seton Hall, surely professional baseball was not guaranteed as an avenue. What were you going to do if you didn't play baseball?
I don't know. I was programming computer software at the time. Who knows? I didn't really have a backup plan as to what exactly it was going to be. I was obviously going to school and getting schooled, and I did well in school. So I always had that. And I was interested in that. I was
guess,
interested
is it conceivable that you wouldn't be in production?
A musician?
In production, if you
No, that's a good point. Yeah, like producing music. No, that's not inconceivable. I don't think I ever thought of it as something I would seriously get into as a career, though.
No. I'm saying if you hadn't started creating videos,
yep,
and because you were playing baseball, is it conceivable that you'd be a computer programmer right now and not Jersey Filmmaker?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I think so because I liked that. Man, imagine that, dude, and like how that's changed. Talk about change. I'd be out of a job probably. Yeah, I think I would have gone that route. I liked it.
Yeah.
I actually really liked going into college. I really liked architecture. So
systems
not something
design.
again, here we go again, thinking about creativity and what I like to do. Yeah, I liked building and designing and building and, making something in your head come to life, which is again why I think why I like this career. I see something, I visually want to make that, put that on screen. Um, yeah, so I wanted to do architecture, but Seton Hall didn't have architecture. And I wanted to go there for baseball, which was always in my mind, like the first thing I wanted to try. So I was more there for that. And then the systems analysis and all that stuff was interesting as well. So I didn't mind that at all, but I didn't have an option to do architecture.
Yeah.
So,
When I think about some of the videos you made, we were at baseball. We were producing long form programming, original programming, right? And Vine had just launched 6-second videos. Munir, you remember Vine?
Oh,
Vines?
yeah. Yeah. We had a pitch once on Vine.
Like you were pitching or you were responding to an RFP or
So the way that the RFP came through was post your Vine about the prospective client, and we're going to choose the agency based on the Vine.
oh,
Yeah, this
did you win it?
was no,
oh,
no, but we tried.
Too
You got
bad
to
you
be in
didn't.
it
Too
to
bad
win
you
it.
didn't know. Yeah, I wish I would have been around then. I was always trying to do those things at that time.
This is like 20
Yeah,
years ago, man. You were around. It's a
yeah.
that's a long time ago.
long time ago.
Remind me, I remind me how we met, Anthony.
Mind you,
Yeah.
um, I was in the fall league. You were there doing your spiel of like letting all the players know who you were and who MLB Productions was and how you're gonna like, we're gonna do content with us. Or content. We didn't call it that then, but anyways, you know what I'm saying.
Original program.
Programming, yeah, original programming, and like you're on our side, giving us that whole spiel of
We're
like
not, yeah.
we're here to make you look good and um doing. I remember that speech in the clubhouse, and then I think it's had to be during batting practice. I'm sitting down in the dugout. I don't know if you remember those dugouts, but they were lower. They were set lower, so you literally
Right.
they're dugouts, which not all dugouts are. Um, but it was a fairly significant drop because I'm sitting down there on the bench. I'm sitting right next to Will Myers, who at the time was obviously a star and ended up being rookie of the year. um, and you said, "Hey, Will," you like came down to the up on the rail, so you're looking down at us. And I know who you are, right? You're from MLB Productions. You've produced Jeter's 3000th hit and all these things I've loved watching. I'm like, oh, this guy's so cool because I'm into this stuff and like I should probably say hi. Um, but I'm doing my thing a little bit and you say, hey, Will, we're when you're done taking your swings, we'll be ready for you down here for your interview. And Anthony, when you're done playing, we'll be ready for you at MLB Productions. It was something of that nature, and I was like, huh? You know me for that? Like, wait, you like people barely knew that I did it. I mean, and so it was really cool because like that was the first moment of recognition for my work,
Holy shit.
honestly, by anyone outside of family and friends. Someone in the space that's a professional in the space, where it's like, hey, great. It's kind of like great work, man. Like, I can't wait to see you do more, and maybe we'll work together. Like, I'd never heard that before at that point. I was like, what? Um, so yeah, it was pretty cool. It was, you definitely are the first to do that for me, and it was, I'll never forget it. I mean, I literally remember the moment of like, I was so perplexed. I was like, this is weird. This is cool. Wait, I'm supposed to be playing baseball, but that was really cool. Like, I want to go talk to him more. So
So
that's how we met.
I love that. It was crazy because we had this opportunity to present, because access-based programming was so important to the portfolio and access to the players was really hard. So you need to make sure that the players could recognize your work with the people who were producing it. So there
Mhm.
was an association. And so when we say MLB Productions, you know that it's the franchise or that it's Derek Jeter 3000 and these Emmy nominated and Emmy award winning shows. And that next crop of player that was down there, Mike Trout, Bryce Harper, Nolan Arenado, Garrett Cole, they were all at the Arizona Fall League at the same time as Anthony. And of course, 15 years later, it's not Bryce Harper or Mike Trout in that chair, it's Anthony Seratelli. Because of that moment, that moment of connection, it was so genuine and authentic. And we knew that there was an opportunity to collaborate. I wanted Anthony to edit at MLB Productions in the off season if he was interested in it. It was that sort of thing because I get so excited about people who also have a passion for production. So it was so cool to see his work, and I admired his work. It wasn't just because he played baseball. In fact, that had nothing to do with it. It was the fact that he created these vines where he would teleport himself from the ground to on top of a roof or crush a water bottle in his hands and it would turn into ice and fall on the table. He really had these exquisite editing skills. I mean, obviously still does, but this is 15 years ago. So
Yeah, you can still hear me, right?
yeah.
Okay. Yeah, you couldn't just push a button to do that like you can now. You actually had to learn how to mask and composite and figure out how to, shoot it so that it works. So that was fun. I really liked doing that. But yeah, that was definitely the first time, Rob. And I, again, remember that to this day. And yeah, I think we've always, man, how many times have we talked about the next thing we're going to do together? We've done a lot together as it is. We're just always still looking for opportunities. I think that's kind of the cool from the first moment you said something to me. That was almost
that's
the
a good
approach
point.
was
That's
like,
a great
hey,
point.
we might be able to work together. And we're like, you still hit me up like, hey, I've got something we might be able to work on together 15 years later.
That's true.
Like we do that all the time. So I think that's just the nature of our relationship at this point. And then my first paid job was editing a Babe Ruth documentary trailer at MLB Productions, thanks to you. So yeah, my first paid gig in production was at MLB Productions, technically, while I was still playing in the off season, of course.
That's so dope.
Yep. Yeah.
Is that when you knew or committed to yourself that this is a career for me?
I think it was before that. I think it was before that. Yeah, because I started this my second year of playing, and I played 10. So I had 9 full seasons of messing around, almost a decade of messing around. So by that time, that must have been season 8 or ish, 8-ish. So I mean, I think at that point I was already like in my head, like this, I love doing this. This is fun for now, and I'm gonna know so much. If I didn't know I was gonna play 10 years, so like that wasn't really thought of like when that was gonna happen. It just kept going, and after 7, 8, 9, I knew a good amount, and it's funny looking back. I knew no, I wouldn't say I knew nothing. I am actually pretty proud of like how much I learned on my own while playing baseball. Obviously, learned so much more when you got so many more things going on and working with clients. But like for being on my own, I learned a lot. Just with my downtime. So that was great. So no, I think I knew before that. I was like, this is probably what I'll do, unless I found something else in that time in between. But it was pretty clear.
We had a guest, Rob Tringali, who's a famous sports
I know, Rob.
photographer.
Yep.
And he mentioned that he once attended a game because his dad had been in the space, and he had a camera with him. And he said that he still can't watch the replay because he's celebrating a win of the team that he was at. But that was the moment that he decided that he was either going to be a fan or a photographer.
Mm-hmm.
And he decided at that moment, I'm going to be a photographer. And then he switched his viewpoint on how he approached every other day from then. And it sounds like you have something similar, not the same, but similar.
No, I actually have a moment.
Oh, yeah.
Now that I think about it, I don't know that it made me think I'm going to do this professionally for sure. But I had a moment where it was like, wow, this is cool. And I like this a lot. And I think that's what made me keep doing it. And actually it's when 2000, it was the beginning of 2008. I went away for winter ball in Colombia, and my sister was on the 4.5-year plan in college. So she graduated in December. And I was gone from October 15th to January 15th, October 15th, 2007 to January 15th, 2008. I don't know why I remember that. But she was having her graduation party and she waited for me to get home. And the party was like January 19th, like 4 days or something after. And I made a video to present, and it was do you remember the song Crank That by Soldier Boy? Superman. Yeah.
Hey.
You so that was like the song at the time. That was just so big at the time. And she's like, I'm gonna have everybody do this at the party. It's gonna be so fun and funny if you really know what the song means. If you want to look into that, if you're listening and don't know. So like grandma, grandpa, everyone's gonna do it. So I decided to, at that point, knowing very little about production because this was 2007 and I started getting into it in 2006, end of 2006. So like I barely started this stuff at this point. But I was like, all right, what am I going to do for her or get her once I get home? So I had 4 days. So I decided to like take my point and shoot, which is exactly what it was back then. A little like camera, like photo stills camera that had some video capabilities, probably shooting, oh my gosh, what files did that pump out back then? God, I can't remember.
Tiny and 4x3. Right?
Something crappy. Yeah. Yeah, it was. It was 4x3 for sure.
Yeah.
And so I was like, I'm going to do like a little story, like intro, and then I'm going to go around and film everybody I'm going to learn the dance real quick because you got to do this. And so I like learn it real quick and I go around and I film everyone. I film my grandparents, my mom, my brother, I do it in all these locations, and I'm going to cut it into the video. So I make this intro that's a few minutes long, and the video, it ends up being like 7-minute video. I did in 4 days, traveling around, shooting, cutting. So from day one of this stuff, it's like, just like clients are like, tomorrow. It's like, all right, fine. Like, we'll get it done. So yeah, I cut it all together and present it. And at the party, I remember this. This is the moment. I put it on screen. I had watched it so many times from editing, so I don't need to look at it anymore. I can see everything in my head just hearing it. And so the screen's over here and the whole party's over here. And I'm standing off like profile to all this, right? So if you can envision the screen, and I'm seeing everybody. So instead of watching the screen, because I know what's happening, I decide to start watching the people. And everyone's laughing. Like when I did, said something, and then someone new pops on screen going like this. Everyone starts dying and pointing to the left and pointing at them. And at the end, my sister's crying, and I'm like, I didn't know you could do this to people. Yeah. And that was the moment. Not that I knew I'd do it professionally, but I was like, this is cool. This is different. I like this. And that just stuck with me. I think from then on, it was never a thought of like, why do I do this? Or, I just love what you can do. I love being immersed in films. Actually, people ask like, do you overanalyze a film? I'm like, I actually do the exact opposite. When I watch it, like, good, bad, no matter what it is, unless it's like so bad that it's like, holy crap, that editing or that sound was so, unless it like completely throws you, I'm not highly critical of movies.
You immerse yourself.
I just am in it. I'm in it. I'm in it. And maybe it was a great story. Maybe it wasn't, maybe it really sucked me in, or maybe it only half sucked me in, but I don't like get technical with it at all. I'm like into the story. That's all that matters. So yeah, I've always been driven by that story, and then like obviously technically and creatively putting it together is fun for the output. But that was the moment for sure. That was my moment.
Amazing, thank you.
Yeah,
that's incredible. We talked about game playing. Did you also do puzzles? Because it sounds like you're really like solving the problems.
I did 3D puzzles. Do you remember the 3D foam puzzles? Do you know what I'm talking about? They weren't around for a long time. They're puzzles, as you'd imagine, but they were, I don't know, a 1/4 of an inch thick, maybe ish.
Okay.
Maybe a 1/2 inch even at most, but like thick enough where you could stick them together and you can now build with them. I built an Empire State Building once. Like,
Oh,
so
wow.
like I remember liking those puzzles that like architecture. Oh my God. Like
Right.
I didn't even think about that. So like I
That's right.
liked and puzzles. Wow, you guys are good at this. You're really pulling it all together. Jesus. All right. So I liked putting puzzles together that built things, not just flat. I like three
Right.
dimensional. I like things like grow. Actually building
Yeah.
something that grows into something. But yeah, that I didn't. I don't want to say I did a lot of flat puzzles. Although it's funny you say that. I have a puzzle on my table right now at home, and it's very difficult. So it's been sitting there for a minute. I've not done a lot of puzzles as an adult, but I do have one at this moment.
Manir
But
can sniff out a puzzle.
yeah, but yeah, I did like the three-dimensional ones. They were fun. It was just, and they were different than just sitting on
That's
flat surface.
amazing.
I
Yeah.
would like to read you something.
Yeah.
So, Carol Dweck, who is an author that Rob and I talk about a lot, she wrote this book called Mindset, and she's got this concept of like growth mindset versus fixed mindset. And in that book, she writes, if parents want to give their children a gift, the best thing they can do is to teach their children to love challenges, be intrigued by mistakes, enjoy effort, and keep on learning. That way, their children don't have to be slaves of praise. They will have a lifelong way to build and repair their own confidence.
Hmm. I
And
I
when,
love all of
yeah,
that. I love all that. I don't want to be cliche in this when I say this, but like I do love the journey, right? I don't think from from baseball, even in business, like yes, we want to make money. We need to make money. I want to make people money that work for us or that invested in us, but it's not having the money at the end of the day that I enjoy. It comes with the territory, right? So even with baseball, it wasn't about getting to the big leagues to make money. It was about getting to the big leagues because that was like that's where I wanted to go. That was the end goal, or the achievement, the goal that I wanted to, and I loved the process of getting there. There's money with that. I thankfully picked something that was financially rewarding if you get there. But I don't think that would change for anything I'm doing. I don't know how much money I could or won't make in this field. It's not the same as baseball where the number for the minimum wage, for your first year in the league and like what you can possibly get as a free agent. And when that happened, like you could see those numbers. It's in the business world, it's a little different. You might make a ton or you might make a little. It depends on how much you do with it. So it's not about that. It's as long as there's enough to support everything that's going on, I'm super happy with. I'm more about the journey. And again, not that process, but not changing it every single day. Like that whole thing we went back to, like that's changing. Like that process and like journeys, like, man, I don't know if I like the way this is now looking, I've always liked. So like I got to figure, that's my own issue. I got to figure out of mentally or even physically how to navigate it, so that I can enjoy it. Because I'm not about doing it. There you go. I'm not about doing it just to do it. I'm not about doing it just for the money. There is the joy in the effort. I like the effort. I like learning. I like all of those things that get you there. So I'm in. That was perfect. Everything you said. So I feel that that hits the nail on the head for me.
I love it. I love it. I think this is a good transition to our mixtape for the week.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'm a DJ, so this is even a better transition.
Hey, DJ
I can remix
Nick
these songs for you.
Jazz is in
Oh
the
gosh.
house.
I should have never told you that. See, this is the problem is like I will actually have to talk to you again. Sometimes you do on these podcasts, you may or may not talk to those people again. Yeah, now this is going to come up
But
plenty of times.
we did choose our theme for the week
Yep.
are songs that remind us of family.
Mm-hmm.
Anthony, would you kick us off?
Yeah. Am I going 3 here?
3 songs.
Well, I already mentioned one actually.
Oh,
Crank That, oddly enough, because and this is funny because everything I thought of when you first, gave me a little prep on this, like, hey, think of 3. All 3 were songs that I put in videos that I made for the family. Right? So they become they become moments. I didn't intentionally make them so, I've done 100 videos. I'm picking 3 that stand out because, like, they really do capture a moment in my life that that is memorable to me. So that is one because, for my sister's party and that moment of, like, understanding what this visual medium could do to someone, um, is so oddly enough, like, Crank That Soldier Boy, when I hear that, like, that's what I think of. Um, and then the other 2 are for the, like, 2 most important men in my life, or 2 videos I made. One for my dad when he passed. A year later, I did, like, a commemorative video that was, "Without You" by David Guetta and Usher, right? Um, and I mean, the words alone, and I think that actually don't even know what that song's truly about. If it's about, like, someone's what no, living without you as, like, husband and wife, which I think it's about, not about someone dying, but I could be wrong. But either way, like, that's now what that means to me.
Yeah.
And that song, and my dad's passing was unexpected, and he was young, so, like, that first year and that 1 year anniversary was a lot to in my life. Like, it's just a moment in my life. After that, it comes easier. Um, just what it is. But that first year was tough. That first year coming around, I was like, oh my God, it's been a year. I can't believe this happened. Like, you go back to that moment in your head. And that song is just like, I have people that text me that say this song reminds me of your dad. I have people that do that. So, like,
Yeah.
it didn't just do it for me. So that's one that's important. And then one's more recent and not as public in a sense, because again, some of these things I do obviously get out there, especially when I was playing ball. But another one is when my grandfather passed. I made so I don't Rob, I don't even know if you know about this. I think you do, but I've interviewed most of my grandparents prior to them, when they're still around. Obviously, I want to know where they grew up and how their siblings and how they met grandma, or whoever, whatever, to tell us when mom and my dad was born, like all those things. So I did that with my grandfather, um, as he was getting a little older, and captured it. And then he lived another 3.5 years, something like that. Um, and I just sat on it. Kind of forgot about it, you know. So when that happened, um, this was the most interesting part. Now that I think about it, is I literally sat on that footage. He passed, and then when is a wake and a funeral? Days, a week, maybe. I cut it in that time frame. It was just like it was.
Wow.
My grandfather was at all of my. I think he missed 2 college games my junior and senior year because of Easter.
Right.
We were gone for Easter. We played Friday, Monday. He didn't come to that trip. Like, I think that's it. My grandfather was a big part of my life. When I was in Japan, he was watching my games at, whatever time of day it was. It's
4 a.m. or
I
whatever.
called him Iron Grandpa. He's always up, it seemed like. Um, so yeah, he was a big part of my life. And when he passed, like, that was heavy on me too. And it was like the other, one of the other strong male, one of the other. I have others obviously in my family, but my dad and my grandfather were the closest. Um, so yeah, losing him was tough, but like, I had that video, and oddly enough, like, it was soothing to put it together. And I cut it so quickly that I was able to present it to the family the day of the wake. So
Wow.
after the wake, we went back to my uncle's, and we had drinks, and did the cheers to everything. And he lived a good life, so that was not a it was not joyous, but it wasn't as sad as my dad, in an unfortunate accident type thing. So um at the end of the night, we played it, and it was like an hour long. But no one had seen
Oh,
it. No one had seen it. No one knew about it really. If they did, they forgot about it because it was years before that I shot it. So yeah, they got to hear, like, everyone in the room got spoken about at some point. It's like, yeah, tell me about Uncle Danny. Tell me about Danielle as a kid, of all your grandkids. Tell me all your grandkids' names. You couldn't remember a couple of the great grandkids. It was great. It's just because he was a little older. But so that was awesome. And I've done that for most grandparents. And I think that's something, if anybody is listening, should do. Like, it's just a really cool thing to hear the stories, and just to have it is just awesome. Um, but in that, one of in my opinion, I may be biased, but like, my most filmic moments that I've ever created, I don't know if it wasn't even intentional. At the end of it, where I'm in his apartment and he's got this just like big rocking chair. Thankfully, he didn't rock too much, but because that would have been
The
a lot
audience,
to
here he
watch. But
goes. He's thinking about the creative.
yeah, I'm thinking, yeah, exactly. I'm like, wow, I'm glad he didn't do that. But he got up and like, he had to help himself up, like not moving too quick. And we're just having conversation, but I kept it rolling. So he's like, it's hot in here, huh, Anth? And yeah, well, I'm like, yeah, oh no, I said it's hot. I go, it's hot. Well, he's like, well, you turn the air off. I'm like, yeah, well, it can't mess up the sound. Like we're having this conversation, as he's getting up. And he gets up and I lit it pretty intensely where it was like, a lot of fall off. The back goes into the kitchen. It's like black back there, like, so he gets up and this thing's rocking and he walks off into the darkness. And I'm playing, the song I'm playing is Sinatra, That's Life. And so he
You
gets
just
up,
gave me chills.
it starts like, I don't know what I'm stuttering because I'm trying to think of like, it's got to be a piano. That opening intro where it's that's life, but you hear like the instrumental first. So as he gets up, it starts fading in and he walks off into the darkness. And like, I'm pretty sure
It's
he's
like an
barely just starting
organ.
to sing. Yeah. And then I put up his name and the date like fills in of his passing. And it was just like, dude, I remember watching that. Like it's giving me chills right now. I'm trying not to like tear up, but like that moment, oh my God. I was like, as one, just in real life, it was like really like, it was just heartbreaking. It's like, that's it. This is it. He's gone, you know? But then also like from a film perspective, I'm like, holy shit, did I just do that? Like, that was so strong. And no, again, I'm personally biased, but like the room went silent. Cause like, oh my God, I'm thinking about it now. Cause it was like a lot of fun to watch. There was a lot of laughs. He's saying goofy things. You can't remember things sometimes. Like it's all fun. Really, it was all fun more than anything. But then it just shut down. And it was like, everyone's like, oh my God. And then I started playing, then like up come old pictures, like a kind of a montage to get through the rest of the song. Oof. So
That's
that song is big for me now too. Not that Sinatra was never big for me, but uh it's so perfect now. So yeah, those three are mine.
beautiful. Oh my gosh, yeah. Thank you for sharing that with us.
Yeah.
Clearly, the connection between family and creativity is strong with you.
Pretty strong. Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty strong.
Munir?
Oh, well, on Anthony's advice, I pulled one that I wasn't going to get, but when you mentioned grandfather, there's a song in Sound of Music, which was our Lebanese grandfather's favorite movie.
Yes.
Uh,
Yes.
it's Edelweiss,
Edelweiss. Let's
Julie
go.
Andrews. And my kids like that movie too. There's some funny parts and some serious parts. And so you triggered that because it was not originally on my list. And so I'm throwing one of mine off my list because that's just perfect. And thank you
Oh,
for
that's great.
inspiring me and reminding me of that.
Yep.
The other is Ya Ana, which is by an artist called Ferouz.
My
Ferouz is a
dad.
Lebanese artist. That was our family used to say, she's a Haddad. She is a Haddad. Whether she's a related Haddad, we don't know. But
We're all
she
related
was
to
like
her.
the Madonna of Beirut, or the Taylor Swift of Beirut and Lebanon, frankly, in the 60s and 70s. And then the last will be Here Comes the Sun, which is the Beatles.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason is we play that as a family. The kids wake up to that, and Rob and my mom was a big Beatles fan, and so that's an homage to her and a remembering of family. But it's a nicer way to wake the kids up.
It's a great song.
I love it. Thank you, Munir. I was thinking about musicals today too because of Jiddo and Granddad, and so I'm so glad you pulled that out because it wasn't on my final list. What was on my final list? Cream, Sunshine of Your Love. Why did I choose that? because Simon, our cousin, our older brother who lived with us, who had come from Beirut because of the Civil War with only his guitar and a bag, and you were only allowed one bag, and so the U.S. Marine allowed him to bring his guitar with him. He would practice Sunshine of Your Love incessantly in the guest room of our house, and all I could hear was my mom screaming, "Stop playing that song!"
Yeah.
So Sunshine of Your Love. Speaking of mom, this list would not be complete without ABBA's Dancing Queen.
Let's go.
Mom would dance in the basement to Dancing Queen or Happy New Year, and it didn't even need to be New Year for her to be dancing to Dancing Queen. So ABBA's Dancing Queen makes us think of mom. And then I'm going to go with Kenny Rogers' Lucille.
Mm.
Kenny Rogers' greatest hit on cassette, many hits, on cassette, was a staple to our road trips as a family. And the reason I chose Lucille was because in the lyrics, he says, with 4 hungry kids and no crops in the field. And I always thought he sang 400 kids and no crops in the field. So Kenny Rogers, Lucille makes the list.
Nice.
Anthony, we're so grateful for you blessing us with your presence. It was such a joy to talk with you and chat and learn more about you, and especially the connection between your family and your creativity and your career path. Really, thank you so much.
That was awesome, guys. I don't think I've dove into this. I've never dove into going that deep to like family roots and creativity. I've never connected those dots. Like I said, some of those came together. It was like puzzles and architecture. Like I've never really thought about all this, but a lot of it makes sense now. So thank you.
Amazing. Thank you, brother. We love you.
All right, guys.
Peace.
Bye.